quality video over copper networks, that in fact there were going to be gains made in compression and other technology that was going to enable AT&T to do HD video, multiple streams into the home, and offer the kinds of services that would compete with cable. As it turns out, Jeff was right. Most of the rest of us were wrong. At least to this point, IPTV, AT&T is the biggest IPTV provider, pure IPTV provider in the U.S. And I think that what you're going to hear from Jeff today is some of the next steps that AT&T is taking to differentiate their services. So without further ado, let me introduce Jeff Weber from AT&T. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I always like coming to this show. A lot of people think it's just because I like to hear myself speak, and that's part of it, but that's not all of it. I like coming here because this is ours. There was no word, no phrase in the English language called Telco TV not that many years ago. And through a collective effort and a pretty broad ecosystem, there is now, and it matters, and it's continuing to grow. So I'm thrilled to be here. I really, really appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the industry, and some of this is pretty obvious, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into what we're doing and try and bring it back to why that matters, hopefully, for most of you in the audience. So clearly customer expectations have changed. There's no great big surprise there. Whether it's watching content online, content on your phone, controlling from different devices, all of that has exploded since 10 years ago when this Telco TV thing started. And that's not going to change. And there's no great big surprise in any of that. What I want to talk about is, with that as a backdrop, what are we doing? And try and frame this a little bit. And beyond what are we doing, why are we doing it? Because I think that's really critical for us to understand. It all starts today with the TV service. And the interesting and sexy and exciting things to talk about are the multiscreen. And they're interesting, sexy, and exciting because they're important, but they're not important unless there's a pay TV service to wrap around today. Now, that could change over time, so I don't have my head in the sand about what could happen, but today it begins with the TV service. And so U-verse TV, we've spent a lot of time and energy making sure we had the best TV service we could. What you see up here is a My Multi-View example where you allow customers to choose what they want in those PIPs and then control back and forth. You see below 170 HD channels, more HD than cable has, total home DVR, things we've talked about in the past, but it's really important to sort of reset. What matters is that core TV service. The next little candy app that we call it is a Santa Tracker application. I'm going to talk more about apps as we go forward, but this simple little app, 40% of our customers used it December 24th and 25th. 40% of our customers engaged with this simple little application and really drove a really different experience, something they couldn't get somewhere else. And then lastly, I'll point out Cubs Multi-View. It's another multi-view flavor. And this is really important because this allows us, within the context of that core TV service, to give customers the opportunity to engage with a Cubs broadcast in a different way. So you can get Cubs broadcasts on our competitor's TV service, just like you can get it on ours. What we're trying to do here, and I think we've succeeded, is customers control the camera angles. So everybody that is a U-verse subscriber gets this application. And if you're watching the Cubs game, you can go to full screen, just watch the primary broadcast, and you don't have to do a thing if that's what you'd like. But if you want, you control which camera angle you're looking at, and you direct the show. You direct the game. And it's just, again, another way to allow customers to engage at a deeper level than they can with our competitors. So maybe sort of obvious, but with all of the talk about end screens and multi-screen and applications, important to remember today it revolves around the core TV service. From there, you move out. And U-verse Online service we have, 180,000 TV shows, movies, clips, 25,000 or so full episodes, very broad lineup. In addition, you can control your DVR experience, you can look at your guide, and that's a theme that's going to recur as we go to multiple screens. It's about controlling your content and consuming your content, not just consuming. I want to be in charge of my experience wherever I am. U-verse Mobile. Streaming content, so consuming content, sideloading content, so I can take certain sets of content with me when I'm off the network, when I'm on a plane, etc. And again, DVR access and control. And you'll see a common UI flowing across all of these. And lastly, on this slide anyway, Xbox 360. It's a full U-verse experience on the Xbox console. We've had that out there for a year or so, and it's just another opportunity for customers, another screen, another way to enjoy the U-verse content. Come back to content and control across devices. Very important. The focus, I think, typically has been on consuming the content. And obviously, at the end of the day, that's what the customer wants. And need to enable that as much as rights allow. And we work pretty hard to do that. But the control component is important as well. Making sure customers have access to the ability to influence their experience wherever they are, so when they get home, all the right content is there, and it's queued up and ready to go. So beyond those screens, I want to talk a little bit more about applications. And this is all about driving engagement, and I'll talk about why that is so important, and we're seeing it really clearly in our data. U-verse-enabled applications. We launched this week 3 or 4 social TV-enabled applications, connected applications. So now I've got a device, handset, tablet, whatever. It's connected via Wi-Fi. And now I am communicating back and forth with that receiver. So I can get content from the TV, from the receiver to my handset, and I can go back up. So I can do things like change the channel and control the guide, all of those kinds of things. But I can also check in and let people know what I'm watching and be part of my social network while I'm sitting on my couch using a smartphone or a tablet, etc. It really is an important first step, and it's just a first step on a much broader connected applications path that you're going to see us go down. Again, driving engagement. And today, we announced wireless receiver. Really thrilled to be able to announce it today, get it into the market. We've been talking about this for a while. U-verse TV wireless receiver allows a customer to move that receiver anywhere they want. So if they want to watch a game out by the pool with friends, they simply pick the receiver up, take it out there, plug it in to the electrical outlet, and they're watching. The signal is delivered via Wi-Fi, and you can move it anywhere in the house. So things like adding TV into a third bedroom, we can now drop ship the wireless receiver to a customer. They very simply, with 2 clicks, connect the receiver and the gateway, and they're watching TV. Never have to send a tech to the house. Saves cost, saves much better customer experience because they can do it when they want it, and it's really simple to do. So let me play a video here that kind of highlights a little bit more about wireless receiver.
Okay, you guys wanted a space for entertaining your friends, so open your eyes and check out your new living room.
Honey, the TV's over there.
Yeah, we got you the new AT&T U-verse wireless receiver, so you can put your TV pretty much anywhere you want. And that stand that
we could put it over there?
and that coffee
We can put it on the patio watching the game with the guys.
Or in the kitchen?
But these curtains
I can't believe
really...
you moved the TV. It's like a whole new living room.
It actually is a whole new living room.
The new wireless receiver, only from AT&T U-verse. Get U-verse for $29 a month for 6 months. AT&T.
So hopefully you get a sense of some of the capabilities of wireless receiver. It's interesting. We started building wireless receiver really for our reason. So it was intended to drive cost out of the installation, drive time out of the installation. So when a tech gets into a home and that third bedroom where they have to fish a wall or they're crawling through the attic or they're messing around and it takes a really extended amount of time, we thought wireless receiver would be a really good solution for that. And it is, absolutely is. At the same time, what we found, though, is customers were thrilled with the capability. So the kinds of things we saw Vern Yip talk about, where you can now move and change up a living room and you don't have to bring a tech back out to install a new outlet and do all those kinds of things, it was wildly positively received from our customers. And so we announced it today. We're going to be live everywhere in our territory starting Monday, and really excited about this. And again, just extending, giving customers additional control, driving engagement with the overall service. And I would say the other thing about this is much simpler for us to do because it's an all-IP infrastructure. It's not to say it's impossible for others to do. It certainly can be done, but because we're all IP, because we're H.264, MPEG-4 compression, a much simpler exercise for us and Cisco to go do. So I've run through pretty quickly a lot of things. Better TV, our U-verse Online high-level capabilities, U-verse Mobile, applications, U-verse on Xbox, connected applications, a lot of wireless receiver, a lot of capability. And at the end of the day, why are we doing all that? And it's really important. I've mentioned it several times. It drives customer engagement. And at the end of the day, you can watch shows on a lot of different services. If you are more engaged with us, we're going to keep you longer. And you can see the kinds of stats we're talking about. 50% of our customers are using applications every month, some many, many times a month. More than 1 million unique viewers of U-verse Online. More than 1 million customers downloaded U-verse Mobile. I would tell you, my lawyers get really nervous, but just about every U-verse customer that is an AT&T wireless smartphone user is using U-verse Mobile, either to control their content or to consume content, or obviously some are doing both. Almost all of them. It's kind of astounding when we look at the numbers. And by the end of the year, 75% of our U-verse customers are going to be interacting with U-verse experience away from the TV in some form or fashion. And as we think about this, it's really important. I don't need a customer to interact with us in all these ways. That'd be great if customers want to take advantage of it, but most don't. They have a particular need. They're looking for something, some way to control their content. They love this app, whatever the case may be. And what's important for us is that they engage in some way, not in every way. And when I see numbers like 3/4 of all of our customers are doing that, many of those in multiple ways, I know I'm driving engagement, and the kinds of decisions we're making and the fact that we're built on IP is starting to resonate clearly with customers and matters. In addition to engagement, it also drives revenue. And when we talk about revenue, the $170 triple play number that we've reported publicly, we're now a $7 billion revenue stream annualized. I mean, we're getting to be a fairly serious business. And that $170 doesn't include the wireless revenue. So that's just the 3 services. I mean, that is a significant, really important, really good customer to us, obviously. And that engagement I talked about, when you buy TV, customers who buy wireless, broadband and voice come with them. 3 out of 75% of our U-verse TV customers have at least 3 services with us. So they have 3 or 4 services. If you buy TV, we get you on everything, and it drives those kinds of ARPU. And if I can make sure you are engaged, it is a very profitable, very attractive work for us. And finally, it's not just about us at all. It really drives certainly customer growth, so we're adding more subscribers than anybody in the country, and we've been doing that for some time now. But it also materially impacts customer satisfaction. We look at our churn numbers, as all of you do, And the more apps a customer engages with, the lower their churn. And it is almost a pure linear relationship. It's really amazing that it is so crystal clear. So we talked about 3.6 million subs and fastest growing, and couldn't be more thrilled to have just received J.D. Power for the 4th consecutive year in 2 of the 3 regions we compete, and for the 3rd time in the other one. So we've done a lot of things built on an IP service. First and foremost, we have the best TV service, and again, it all starts there. And beyond that, we've built enormous capability that gives customers the control they're looking for, that drives the level of engagement, whether that's through consuming the content or in other ways, that makes sure that they are really satisfied. So as I think about that, what it means for TV and what it means for telco TV, for all of us in the room, pretty simple and pretty obvious: put customers first. And when we do that, enhancing the content experience, driving the kind of in-screen engagement that we've talked about throughout here, and obviously leverage the IP infrastructure in the ways that we've talked about, and frankly, ways that will drive further differentiation down the road, evolving, innovating, and really continuing to leverage what our technology, what our infrastructure brings in ways that customers care about. Driving control, consuming content, delivering engagement in a way that others just can't. So with that, I think I've left a few minutes for questions, and I'm happy to open it up. So I think we're going to raise the lights a little bit. You have to go to a mic. So if there are, here's the mic right here. Was that compelling, huh? I'm standing here for 3 minutes and 37 seconds. It's going to be uncomfortable without a question.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how are you?
Paul Conley. Good, thanks. Paul Conley with Cisco. Comments on 3D TV and 1080p in the future?
Yeah, so obviously we're carrying 3D TV like most of our competitors are. Haven't seen a ton of uptake yet, and I don't think that means we're not going to. But at least at this point, it has not been as significant an event as at least some had predicted. I think we'll continue to see more content, and over time that'll matter more and more. And we're carrying it. We're carrying pretty much everything we can. So it's not an infrastructure issue. I think it's really just a customer demand, customer interest, et cetera.
Hi, Jeff Baumgartner with Light Reading. You kind of ran through some of the benefits and reason why you're doing the wireless receiver.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if you guys are looking at a way for the content to come in there and then use Wi-Fi to transcode that content so it could be viewable on like an iPad or some sort of portable device, if that comes into play at all in your thinking.
So how you transcode within a home and distribute it out to other devices is obviously very much in the forefront of our thinking. We're not really thinking about wireless receiver necessarily as the way to do that, but you need a transcode point somewhere in the house, and that's just an architecture and efficiency discussion, and I say just. I mean, it's a significant discussion. Probably not wireless receiver as the way to do that, but I think you'll see more ability to transcode in homes going forward. Yeah.
Todd Marriott, Utopia. Wondered if AT&T would be willing to be a service provider and use its services over some of the municipal open access broadband systems in the United States.
So probably the right answer is I don't know. I think we're very open to getting the U-verse service more broadly deployed and penetrated. So, there's, my guess is, a million pretty sticky questions underneath that top line, but from are we interested in taking this service and deploying it more broadly and driving penetration? The answer is clearly yes. I don't know what the economics on that particular implementation would be, but open to the conversation for sure.
Well, as the CEO of Utopia and the nation's largest open access system, we provide you an open invitation, an official invitation to provide your services to over 100,000 homes in Utah.
Okay, well, we'll have that conversation then.
All right.
Thanks. Yes.
Thierry Fautier from Harmonic. I think there are a lot of deployments in the world where service providers are taking the connected TV as the ultimate client. Mm-hmm. What is the position of AT&T on that? And I know I would have to ask the same question to Microsoft, but I would like first to get AT&T perspective on that.
Well, I don't think that, I'm not sure there is an ultimate client. So is connected TV going to be part of the equation? Clearly. And how, delivering a full, robust service on a smart TV at the point in time we can do that, and I mean the complete service, very interested in that. I don't think it makes sense within a U-verse footprint to deliver a partial service. Now you might want to deliver parts of the broader service outside of that paid TV experience, but I really think you want to deliver the complete service. And will smart TV be part of that? Yes, no question in my mind.
So my second question, is it classical IPTV or will it be adaptive streaming?
I think there won't be much difference going forward. So I don't want to downplay how hard it'll be to go from where the infrastructure is today to include adaptive streaming. But I don't think those are different things very far into the future. So I apologize. I think I'm out of time. Maybe one more. I'll turn to Carol. Yes.
She better. Hey, it's Phil. I'm a customer. So a lot of people have noticed that the smartphone experience on the iPhone with the U-verse app and the iPad are a little bit different in terms of what you can watch and what you can sideload and all of that. Can you explain why the difference exists, and is there a point where it's going to be evened out at all?
Yeah, so it's a pretty simple explanation. The content rights are different on those different devices, and I would love for them to be the same and broader, but the content rights preclude a lot of that. And so I think over time the differences will get smaller. I don't know if all of those screens are ever exactly the same, but over time I think clearly they'll draw closer and closer together. So with that, really very much appreciate the time. Again, I love coming to this show, and I beg Carol to let me every year, so I thank you for indulging me, and thanks so much.
Thanks, great job. Great job. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jeff. So I mentioned in my opening remarks that one of the challenges that you all